Once again, can our waste guess become ill? Of course not. If you have this guess, and we all do, then you are no different from other people. It simply indicates that you can use this guess in exactly the same way as all normal humans do. And you can extract exactly the same speech sounds from your speech instrument as they do. But can everyone whistle? No, of course not. Not everyone can whistle. Why? Because it requires us to create a specific hole, a specific slit, and supply the flow of CO2 gas of specific strength through this specific hole. Only the one who does it can whistle. Only the one who has learned how to do it can do it. But when I'm only exhaling CO2 without creating this specific hole, no whistling occurs, right? Does it mean that I have become sick because I cannot whistle? Do I need a cure? Of course not. I simply do not know how to whistle. I have never learned it. That's all. It is exactly the same with people who stutter. People who stutter also have never learned to meet certain natural requirements for speaking. So what does anyone require to have to be able to learn to speak? Let's find out. You know that even parrots can speak, right? Are these birds smart? Do they understand the meaning of the words they say? Not really. They simply also have and move the same CO2 through their beak. In the beak they have little holes, right? One even hole, one slit. And this flow of waste gas, not the bird itself, the flow of gas, creates the sound of parrot's voice, which sounds similar to human's voice, right? Why? Because just like any man, the parrot also has a speech pipe. And it also has a very good hearing. Yeah, birds can hear very, very well. This is how any parrot can imitate accurately any sound that has entered its ears. So I want you to understand clearly what is speaking. Speaking is playing music on a wind instrument according to desires of a player. When we speak, we simply play a music instrument. It's called the wind instrument. And we play it according to what we want at this moment. It is like if I want to whistle, I whistle. If I don't want to whistle, I don't whistle. If I want to speak, I speak. If I don't want to speak, I don't speak. If I want to play this word melody, hello, I play this melody. If I want to play another word melody, goodbye, I play the other one. So everything in speech goes in the way I want right now, at the present moment. This is so crucial to understand. But unfortunately, people who stutter believe that they speak automatically, like robots. But can your body machine choose on its own what word to say? No. This requires us to select consciously what exactly we want to say right now. Imagine you have come to the store. Will you ask a salesperson automatically, "Could you please give me a banana?" Of course not. First, you would need to choose the banana. And you need to decide if you even want it. You may not want a banana at this moment, and instead you desire a candy, right? This is why it doesn't make any sense to play this word melody banana on your wind instrument in front of a salesperson. I want you to understand, people do not speak with the air that they just inhaled. No. We do not inhale and immediately eject the air saturated with oxygen. We inhale oxygen so it would enter and stay in our body. Inhalation is an automatic function of our body. We should never even pay attention to this process. Why? Because our lungs are similar to a sponge. Here I have a sponge. Or a bicycle horn. Let's do a practical demonstration how our lungs work. See this bowl of water. And I want to demonstrate this to you. I'm going to put this in the water, right? Okay. So now, take a look. I grab this sponge and I want to squeeze water out of it. What do? See this? The water comes out because I squeezed it out. Now, if I want the water to get sucked in, I need to put it back in the water. And guess what? The sponge will suck exactly the amount of water it needs. Okay? If I want to wire it out, I can. I wire it out by squeezing it with the muscles of my hand. But if I don't put this in the water, what's going to happen? I don't have to do anything specific. All I have to do is just to relax my hand and the sponge just pops up on its own. And this time it sucks in what? Not water. It sucks in the air, the oxygen. Exactly the same thing happens if I play with a bicycle horn. Check this out. When I want to make noise, I squeeze. But when I want to fill the rubber ball with air, I just relax my hand and the rubber ball pops up on its own. It's very, very important to understand because this is the way our lungs are built. Physiologically, our lungs are built as a sponge or as a collection of bicycle horns, like rubber balls, a whole bunch of little balloons, right? Put together, these balloons make up a big sponge. The mechanism of the horn and sponge is the same. After we squeeze them, they expand automatically themselves and suck in the necessary amount of the substance surrounding them at this moment. Our lungs sponge suck in the air. But when a drowning man is under the water, his lungs will automatically suck in the water. And the man may or may not choke to death, depending on how much water his lungs will take in. So this process of sucking in occurs automatically. No matter how much a person may resist it, his lungs will suck in anyway. For example, if people are put in a gas chamber or under the water and realize that inhaling is really harmful, but still they will breathe in automatically against their will because the inhalation is always automatic. Unlike our inhalation, our exhalation, breathing out, is voluntarily. Because of this natural mechanism, we can perform such a conscious action of blowing out our waste gas through our speech pipe. This is what we call speaking. As we are speaking, we are getting rid of our waste gas, CO2. After we have exhaled the waste gas, our lung sponge expand and suck in oxygen automatically. It doesn't require much force, as it is natural. It's a natural process. And also the air is really, really light. Try to weight the air. How much does it weigh? Of course, it's almost weightless. But people who start to force it, they close tightly and press on their mouth. I'm talking now about mechanical basics of stuttering phenomena. It is like if we attempt to pour the water from the bottle, but forget to open the lid. We could be shaking and shaking and shaking the bottle. The water would be plopping inside, but would not come out. This is exactly what most people who stutter do. They open their mouth like this and release the CO2 drop by drop. Why are they doing this? Because they attempt to inhale and speak with oxygen. But in reality, we speak with carbon dioxide, as you already understand. This is why no one ever needs any breathing exercises. Remember we talked about parrots? Do they do any breathing exercises? Of course not. But they still can speak. This is why no adequate people ever waste their time on training their breathing. As a matter of fact, speech breathing doesn't exist. And it's very harmful when we do any breathing practice. Here is another example for you. There are some people who have lost a big part of their lungs due to various illnesses. Why can't they speak? Because they still have a small sponge, a small rubber ball, a small balloon, which expands automatically. I want you to realize that when we squeeze even a small bicycle horn, look at this, small rubber ball, which does not have much air inside, still, it makes a very loud noise. Check this out. Even a tiny amount of air can generate a very loud and powerful sound. But our lungs are a much, much bigger horn. Huge! A lot of little balloons put together. All people who stutter have an adequate lungs. It's their sponge. And they can wring it out just like all other people. But instead of doing this, they suck in more air than necessary and they overload their lungs. They puff up like a turkey and attempt to articulate something. Some of them plug their throat with their tongue or close tightly their lips, begin to shake. This is the phenomenon of a plugged bottle. A stutterer attempts to shake out the word without understanding that each word is just a flow of gas, which is impossible to shake out. Look, even if I open my mouth and begin shaking my head, nothing will come out. Why? Because I need to wring out, squeeze the sponge right here in my lungs. But people who stutter believe that it's in the throat. This is why they keep pushing, keep pressing on their throat, complain about the pain in their throat. But there is no gas in our throat. It's here, it's in the lungs.